Hello, everybody. This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I had a friend that's been going on Google Earth and researching, verifying my story. And extra set of eyes is always good. And anyway, I was telling him that this was my oldest map that I found, aerial map or satellite map. And I found it on the City of Midland's website. It's no longer there. But this map, the reason I thought it was interesting, I'm going to show you here. I'm going to zoom in here. That's my backyard. Of course, that's where it's believed now one of the 4 3-bedroom underground homes is. See right here, it looks like a tunnel or a ditch is cut right there, because there's the back fence. See how that ground's white right there? And so that's what I was looking at. So when I projected that out, it seems to intersect with these buried cinder blocks on the southeast corner of my home. We're going to go out there and look at that in a minute. And then I also drew a straight line over here where the other suspected tunnel entrance was, and in the backyard of that neighbor. It was put in and taken out. I'm going to show you that here in a minute too. And then if I project it this way, it looks like it goes to the west manhole of the 2 side-by-side manholes. So I've long suspected that tunnel pipe might have been put in here, and like seen on the other side of my house. I'm going to show you a picture of it here in a minute. And that tunnel pipe facilitated so the people in the attic could go in and meet the truckers and do their deals, their sex trafficking, like a truck stop, like lot lizards, and then come back over. So they'd rig this home up for 24/7 sex trafficking, and it was a business, And then of course, if the owner finds out, then they murder the homeowner and call the secret police to help cover it up, or that's one theory. Maybe the secret police do the murders. We don't know. But I'm going to go outside and I'm going to show you this. I think you'll find this real interesting. Okay, I'm going out my front door now. And first off, what we're going to do here is go over here to the west side of my home. And before I was ambushed and shot during the home invasion murder attempt, I had reported my first burglary 14 months earlier, and I couldn't figure out how they're getting the house, and I was locking up the house. Of course, I ain't thinking anybody's coming from underground. Nobody would think that, that's it's pretty crazy. And anyway, one day I'm sitting in my driveway, and I look over, and I see that right there, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. It's what I call man-sized tunnel pipe. It used to be sitting right here, but this neighbor moved it, and of course it's on her property, so it's hers, whatever. But you can see it's plenty big enough for a person to crawl into. That doesn't go underground. That's just a short leftover piece of man-sized tunnel pipe. And so I've wondered if that wasn't put in the ground where I showed you on the other side of my house. We're going to walk over there. Okay, I'm over here on the other side, and I want to show you here what I was telling you about these weird buried cinder blocks on the southeast corner of my home. They're right here, and you can see it from the aerial or the satellite maps. And so it's real odd. These cinder blocks are there, but there used to be a gate there at one time, but it's still pretty odd. But if you look at that old map where it looks like a ditch cut in my backyard, them 2 side-by-side manholes were right next to where that missing tree is. That missing tree is where that telephone pole was right there. There was another tree, that live tree that was taken out 2014, 2015. I'm going to show you better pictures of that here in a minute, but these cinder blocks seems to intersect directly in line with that west manhole. We're going to go out back and look at that. Okay, now we're going out the back door here and into the backyard again. There's old Bella dog. She's a great guard dog. Okay, and so we seen on that oldest aerial map where it looked like a ditch was cut in the yard. And then when I projected out, that's what I was saying, if I projected that ditch out, it looked like it intersected right here at the corner of the house where them buried cinder blocks are. Okay, and a straight line put it over there to where that suspected tunnel entrance used to be in the backyard of that house going this way. I showed you on that map. And then if we come this way right here, that's where that west manhole is over here, because there's 2 manholes side by side right there near that telephone pole. And of course that telephone pole has that coax cable that goes down into the ground, the mystery sudden link coax that nobody knows where it goes all these years. We had a disconnect notice on September 22nd, 2014, after I was making videos and on Facebook and everything. And so, you know, obviously law enforcement could find out who called it in, where it was going. And where do I think it's going? I think it's going right here to this 3-bedroom underground home that Google Maps shows me is right here. And as I showed you yesterday, there's that depression, which is right in line right there. And so we're gonna go back and look at some more pictures. Okay, I'm back at the computer, and this was that map we was looking at. I'm gonna zoom in. Remember, that's my backyard. We were standing there, and there's where I thought it looks like a ditch cut coming over to the west manhole here. Looks like it intersected with the center blocks here, and then it would even be under the straight line where I believe that suspected tunnel entrance was in the east neighbor's backyard that was put in and taken out. So here I want to show you the 10,000 foot view. Okay, the Google Earth, we can go there, and I've showed this before. My home right here, and this is where I was ambushed and shot right here, and it's also believed the last homeowner died here too. And here you can see where it looks like there's a ditch cut coming out of the back of Home Depot going directly towards my house. Okay, I showed that Homeland Security a couple of weeks before they poured concrete, or you know, somebody poured concrete in the backyard. It looks like that's where one of the underground facilities is at, and there's Home Depot store, the big parking lot here. And, you know, and the clerk at Home Depot told me one time, if you see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night, it's because we're stocking, you know, and I didn't ask that. And I think, well, the people, you know, a large amount of people at an oil show party would need a place to park, and they would need an excuse. And so maybe they were all parking there, going underground here, coming through that tunnel back over towards my house, and they were here in one of the 4 3-bedroom underground homes that I was told about. And so this map is dated June 16, 2011, about 6 months before I was ambushed and shot inside my own home and then left to die. Okay, and so I wanted to show you that picture, and then this picture here. These are Google Earth pictures. That was and there are 4 of them, and they're dated. Okay, so this one's dated 3/31/2008. That was before I moved here. It's about 6 months before I got here or so. And what I'm showing is in the backyard of that east neighbor, that suspected tunnel entrance is not there. But the next time the plane flew over on December 5th, 2009, and by that time Mike Lawhon is dead, and I had transferred into town as the next unsuspecting victim, that this suspected tunnel entrance was put in the backyard of the east neighbor. So it's there all that time. And so here, my next shot here that I got is in September 2014, and I just took this one to show it's still there. So in 2014, remember I'm ambushed and shot in 2012. 2014, it's still there in that backyard, but I'm making videos and all that, you know, getting worldwide attention, sick place, all that, and this was before the sick place were identified. And then by April 2016, it's gone. See that? But also that live tree has been taken out, and notice the trees here. The tree's gone. And, you know, just happens to be a trucker parked right there, you know, and that's where it was believed that, as I said a while ago, that the people in the attic, which believed connect to human trafficking, sex trafficking, maybe victims or whatever, you know, that they were going down a tunnel coming over here, and they're meeting the truckers doing their deal and coming back. So they're running like a lot lizard and a truck stop, 24/7 sex trafficking business. And as I said before, that if the homeowner tries to stop them, then they're murdered, you know, and then they get a new homeowner and he tries to stop them, then they try to murder him, you know, or whatever. That's what it looks like is going on. But both of these are taken out around that same time frame. So we have the time frame. The other thing I'm going to show you, not there. That was Google Earth, and it's going to open up. So I'm going to wait just a second. Okay. This is a video I made in 2015 called "Is This the Sex Trafficking Tunnel?" And I want to show you back there behind the, on the other side of the wall. Back on the other side of the fence here. I haven't done a lot of recording over here. See a missing tree right there. You can see the spot is gone. Right here is, notice where that manhole is right there. Okay, and that's where I'm pointing out. See that manhole right there with the lid about half off? Okay.
To be another one right next to it.
Like, or there used to be another one, and that was the other one is right here, the west one, and that's really the one that it had the lid off for several years, and
I don't know where it's at. There was two side by side. I got pictures of them. I only see one. Whether
okay, and so that just shows you the two side by side manholes, which seems unique. Okay, we walked over there and we saw the man-sized tunnel pipe. I was going to show you that. Had a friend, his name's Frank. It was Jordan's friend, come over, and we made a video one day, and he climbed inside the man-sized tunnel pipe to show that there's plenty of room, and that's what I was wondered, if this type of pipe wasn't put over to facilitate for the truckers. Now, I believe probably the tunnel that comes from the Home Depot, that I believe is coming from the Home Depot over to the $1 Million Underground Homes, is probably bigger and better than just a tunnel pipe. But maybe that tunnel pipe was put in to facilitate the sex trafficking for the truckers. That's what was a guess. And then this picture is the one that I emailed to Chief of Police Price Robinson in 2012 after I had survived the home invasion murder attempt. And I didn't take that lid off. It was left like that. That's how it was for 2 or 3 years, is the lid was off right there. And that's where I believe they were coming from my house over here and then coming up, meeting the truckers, going back down. And and I could hear people in the attic moving around, burglar alarms going off. I could see a trucker show up and then he'd get quiet, while the trucker was here and the burglar was gone, and then the truck would leave and I'd hear them come back up into my attic, and happen day after day after day, and this is going on weekends and nights, and the trucks are showing up and they're not unloading freight, they're staying 30 minutes to an hour and they're leaving. It could also be drug smuggling, weapons, terrorists, etc. But I really believe it's human trafficking and sex trafficking. Okay, this here was just a couple years ago, and I think it's interesting because me and a friend drove back there behind Home Depot and noticed somebody marked the curb right here and right there with blue paint. And I showed that to Homeland Security, and they made some excuse. And then, of course, 2 weeks later, they're back there, somebody's back there pouring concrete, showing the two manholes, east manhole, the west manhole, side by side. Here's where the live tree was. Here's the mystery sudden link cable that comes down and goes into the ground. Nobody knows where it goes, and had a disconnect notice. Nobody knows, who did that, I mean, just blatant in your face public corruption, and we'll break in your home and kill you dead, and you better not say anything about it. Who are you going to call? The police, And so here, this is off a video. 2 weeks before this, I was back there with Homeland Security that's supposed to take care of human trafficking, right? And I showed them where I believe the tunnels and the, and we're at. They're going from that store to my house, and 2 weeks later, they're back there pouring concrete, okay? And so, I'm thinking that it was done to cover up capital murders. The murder of that little girl, the murder of the last homeowner, the capital attempted murder of my life, and all these other crimes. But probably, since these are oil show parties and a little girl was murdered, they're oil companies, billion-dollar companies, millionaires. They don't want anybody to find out about their secret underground little, casino brothel hideaway where no rules apply and they murder who they want, and so, that's speculation, but here you can bet that's a fact. Okay. And then interesting, on the secret police pictures right after I shot, I was in surgery. And this was one of the pictures. This is Detective Rosie Rodriguez with the Midland Police Department, and she's one of the main players. Come to find out, she was lifelong friends with the ex-wife that's alleged to be involved in the shooting. I'd filed divorce on 5 days before I was shot, and they tried to disable that camera that night, and it accidentally caught them, and that's part of the reason all this is happening. And so, anyways, I see her pointing up on the security monitor. That was the security monitor at the time, and she was pointing over there, and and I think that one time I even put a little caption, this is where we sell the little kids to the truckers right here. And she's telling her friends, how these police are involved in this sex trafficking, human trafficking, burglary, theft, and murder of homeowners, and I don't know that. But what we do know for a fact is Rosie Rodriguez was caught tampering with evidence and lying on police reports and perjured herself. And as far as I know, she's probably still a police officer. There's no telling how many murders she's been involved in and covered up. That's the dirty of the dirty. And there was 2 entries to my house. The only person seen on both entries was this detective, Rosie Rodriguez, right here. And I mean, I wouldn't trust her for nothing, man. I'm talking about a scary person. If you want to be a criminal, be a criminal, but don't become a cop and then help people break into private homes and murder them. This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.